This is Joe Valensik again. Today I'm going to be making an enriched dough white bread recipe. This is a really good recipe for making plain old white bread, sandwich bread, or hot dog buns, hamburger rolls, knotted rolls, things like that. It's made with natural enrichments, being butter, egg, and sugar, as opposed to chemical enhancers that make the dough much softer to work with. So we're going to get started here. I'm going to take the 7 ounces of flour, put that in along with the sugar and the yeast, and I'm going to mix that up to blend those ingredients together. You always want to blend your dry ingredients, any bread recipe that you're making. Then I'm going to add my milk, which has been put in the microwave for like 30 seconds and brought to room temperature, and the 2 eggs that I've mixed up with a fork, and then we're just going to blend this together. This is called a sponge, and what the sponge does is it gets the yeast working in part of the dough to where it's going to add more flavor to your finished dough. And you can see it's pretty loose, and that's by design. We want these ingredients to blend together and get that yeast working. You can also make this recipe by just taking all the ingredients that are on the recipe and put them all together. But I just feel by making the sponge that you get a little bit more flavor out of the finished product. So we're going to take that sponge and now just put it inside of a plastic bag like this to keep air off of it, and put it in a corner of my kitchen countertop for 1 hour to go ahead and raise. So we'll be back after that's raised. Okay, our sponge has sat for a while, and boy, look at this, how beautiful that came out. Smells delicious. So what I'm going to do is take this out of here first. I'm going to put the sponge here in the mixer. See how the gluten was developing? All of the stringiness is the gluten. This also could be referred to as a starter, in that you've already started the yeast growing in here. So not gonna lose any of that goodness there. And to that, I'm going to add the lukewarm milk and the butter, which it's back down to room temperature. And the salt. And now I'm just going to give this a spin to get this blended. And I'm going to begin adding the flour. And one of the things that's difficult to control is the amount of liquid in the eggs. So sometimes you have to add more flour. Okay, we're going to let this go and add flour as needed and then I'll get back. Okay, we just about hit 7 minutes. I didn't have to add any more flour. And there's our 7-minute timer. So I'm going to flour my hands here a little bit to remove this. And it comes out in a nice big piece. Just going to shape this into a ball so we can, oh, I better shut that off. It's going to keep squawking. This into a ball so that we can then put it on its next rise for about 60 minutes until it doubles in size. So we've got a nice, soft, manageable dough here. And I've already sprayed this inside and swirl it around to get some on top, so it doesn't skin. And we're off to sit in the corner for an hour and ferment. And then we'll be back. Okay, our dough has risen, and risen nicely. Wow. So I'm gonna degas this a little bit. And tip it out. And what I'm going to do is, I like my loaves of bread to be about 1 pound, 11 ounces. So we'll see how this works out. 114. Let's see what this one is. That's pretty good. That's 1 pound, 12 and a half. So I'm going to go ahead and shape this for a loaf of bread. And what we'll do is fold it over like an envelope. And this is not rocket science. I've already taken a pan and sprayed it with some cooking spray inside so that this doesn't stick. And now I'm just going to tightly wrap this forward. And I'm taking that seam and I'm tightening that seam up on the back side. And then I'll flip it over, tighten it again. I take these ends and tuck them in. Like so. And I end up with a loaf that looks like Jimmy Dean sausage type roll or pound of ground meat in the store. And I just set that in there, and that's going to get covered and let rise until it creeps up over the top, which will take about an hour. Now, what we're going to do over here, I had mentioned that this dough is really good for hamburger buns as well as hot dog buns. So what I'm going to do is, when I make my hamburger and hot dog buns, I make them at about 3 ounces. So I'm going to cut this off here. Okay, a little over 3. And I'm just going to show you 2 examples rather than go through all these. What I do is I take and roll these kind of like I did before with sandwich thins. Get them in a ball because we want the dough to be somewhat symmetrical here and easy to work with. And then I'm going to take, for the hamburger bun, I'm just going to press this down literally like this. And that's going to shrink for after a little bit. And then I'll go ahead and press it out. I want it to be about the size of a 1/4 pound hamburger. So we'll set that one to the side. And then for the hot dog roll, I just take, after it's rolled in a ball, and you kind of get your fingers and roll from the center out and make it into a tube. And it's literally that simple. You don't go the full length of the tube initially because now the gluten is developing. So we're going to let these sit, and then I'm going to show you what they're going to look like in a little bit. Okay, I've got them shaped, and I decided since we eat more hamburgers than we do hot dogs that I would make 6 of the hamburger buns and 4 of the hot dog buns, which are also good for my smoked Slovenian sausages that I like to make. So we're going to go ahead and cover these up and let them rise for about 45 minutes. Well, the hamburger rolls and hot dogs are risen, and I'm going to go ahead and get some egg wash on them. And we'll give them a little bit of the sesame seeds. Okay, they're ready for the oven, and we'll give you a picture when they come back out. They're going in at 350. We're going to set it for 15 minutes and see how they look at 15 minutes. All right, this guy's ready to go in. So we're going to get an egg wash on here. Bring up some color on this when it's done. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to turn this into what's called split top. And I'm just going to go down maybe a little over 1/8 of an inch after that's done. Okay, the buns are done. And then this guy's going in the oven as soon as the other ones come out. So the timing is perfect. There's our hamburger and hot dog buns out. So these guys came out nice and pretty. They got nice color, good shape. And so those are going to go on the cooling rack, and then they'll get packaged up and put in the freezer. Okay, the split top loaf came out, and it looks beautiful. Got nice color to it, and going to present itself well when turn it into sandwiches. So thanks for watching, and enjoy.